Here we are on Wednesday. What is today? The 15th already. We're halfway through the first month of 2025. And for most of you, as you know, I'm recording this for a podcast, Courageous and Free with Jacqueline Mack. And we're jumping into part two today. Part two, because there was so much to be said about perseverance versus insanity. And why at times, actually twice in my life that I know of, or could have been way more than that, honestly, I'm almost certain of it, where burnout happened twice due to perseverance because I crossed the line and fell into insanity of hustling, of working hard. And when working hard isn't working, why do we continue down that path? Well, for me, I was younger. I was extremely healthy. So my body was way more resilient. And I had way less responsibilities on my plate, right? So when you think about your goals, your intentions, your desires, and what it means to actually experience them, achieve them, and actualize them into your reality sooner than later, keep this in mind. Be aware, be aware, be aware, be aware. And before I jump into today's episode, I also want to bring up this whole, I've only heard it a few times this year, but it used to be very, very popular. New year, new me, new year, new me. And at first I was like, yeah, new year, new you, yay, go. But it's not if you make evolution, expansion, possibility, potentiality, versus just high performing all the time, but actually making evolution, possibility, potential part of who you are and how you be on a regular basis. So it's this new year, but it's the same me because the same me has been evolving for decades as part of my intentional practice on the regular, right? So, anyways, just wanted to put that there because maybe you can relate to that. Maybe new year puts pressure on you. And if that's you, permission to take the pressure off, permission to step into perseverance without the pressure, permission to create radical results that seem insane to others without actually doing the insanity, which is the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So last week we were talking about that number one factor for attaining any goal in any time frame, whether it's a month, a quarter, or a year, is perseverance. Like at the end of the day, perseverance is the only way. But there's that crucial distinction between persevering and preventing like that crossover into the territory of insanity, which will result in burnout every single time. So if you're a high performer, a business owner, a high ticket sales professional, you know, or have felt at some time, whether you've been aware of it or not, the key to achieving success without the hustle, without the grind, without unnecessary frustration, without burnout, without regret, requires a whole another level of leadership, competence, confidence, and authority. So I want to recap a little bit about what we covered last week, but definitely dive in to get all the juice out of the details of last week's episode. But the perseverance, it's that standing, that unshakable, unwavering commitment. And at times it requires pivoting during these unshakable, unwavering commitments. It's like, well, I'm committed to this, but now I'm going to pivot and do this instead. You're still committed to the end result. You didn't give up. You didn't fail if the end result is still the goal. And even if the end result isn't the goal anymore, what's the overarching theme of what you're doing and what the real result is? The result might be a milestone or an amount of money or love or connection or hiring team members or, right? But why are you even setting that goal of that amount of money, that love relationship, that connection, those team members, that much revenue in your business? What is that going to provide for you? Well, hello. Most of us will say time freedom, money freedom, but let's not forget the fulfillment part. right? Freedom's a great thing. And that's why most of us do what we do. Like I remember saying, I'm going to hustle these 2 years and then it's freedom. And whatever I've accomplished that far, no, the priority is freedom. So right now it's time freedom, right? Time freedom to be with time freedom to go on every single field trip the teachers allow me to go on. I'm that parent. Like I also am like, hey, if there's other parents that want to go, please let them. I just want to go on one this year, minimum. But if you need more chaperones, you can count on me. I don't want to miss out on those moments, and neither do my children. My children love it, and I will take it to the day where they're like, no, mom, you're not cool anymore, right? Which hopefully will never be the case. But I don't get to pick that. So when you're feeling stuck, frustrated, overwhelmed, but you're continuing to do the same thing out of fear, out of lack, out of habit, this is insanity. And I went over that fine line in the last episode between the two and what's required for staying in the zone of perseverance and making sure that when you are, you are. And when you're aware that you aren't any longer, you have the opportunity to pivot or release, right? And I even map out a beautiful structure in the power prompts, which I call the CPR for your goals, which is 7 prompts in 20 minutes every single month. To celebrate is the C, to P is the pivot, right? And the R is to release. Sometimes it's resuscitate, but most of the time it's releasing, honoring and releasing what no longer serves us, even if it seems super radical and people don't understand. Because the people that matter most, they will get you. They're there to support you. They're in your corner, right? So we talked about the clarity of your vision, being willing to change the how without abandoning the what and the why, setting consistent and regular check-ins, using the power prompts to do so, to be intentional and to pivot, to celebrate, to release every single month, to make sure you are hitting those goals every single month within that year, or at a minimum within the year, even if we have a quote unquote bad month, bad week, bad day. They exist. They're going to happen. But these power prompts will help you in the prevention of it totally wrecking the whole year, right? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater type of situation. Don't give up just because of one bad week, one bad month, or 2 consecutive bad months. Hello? It happens. It happens, especially if we're pushing and not taking time to allow us to recalibrate, reassess, and be pulled by the thing and expect that or something better. Embracing feedback to fuel you forward, embracing and celebrating the wins, the mistakes, the failing forwards. So, but in this episode, we're going to not cover all that because I covered that in the last episode, but just remember, those are the things. Go back and listen and apply something that you've learned that's either new or a gentle reminder. Now, the mindset shift. This is what today's episode is about, the mindset shift to fueling perseverance. Because there is a mindset shift that's required, not just maybe it feels good, maybe it doesn't. No, I talk about this all the time with my daughters on growth mindset and fixed mindset. And it's a choice, and it can be taught, and it can be created into patterns and habits of who you are and how you show up. Neither is right or wrong, neither is good or bad, but I can tell you based on science and proof that fixed mindset isn't going to get you very far, and a growth mindset allows for the evolution of possibility, potentiality, especially when you're choosing it with intention. So the first part of shifts in your mindset would be the obvious, right? Reframing, a shift to reframe a challenge, viewing obstacles as opportunities to grow, learn, and adapt. Not always easy in the moment. Not always easy to be grateful for those challenging situations. And it's okay to take a moment and feel the letdown, feel the disappointment, the frustration, the darn it, I wanted that so bad and I missed it. Or I took the shot and it didn't happen. Or wow, they said no again. Oh wow, 50 calls later. And this is all that is the result of that. Like, it's easy to focus on that and to kind of feel quote unquote stuck. But I promise you, if you feel the feelings and learn how to grow through it, journal through it, and at the end of the day, be grateful for the growth, things will turn around much faster. It happens every single time. I am proof. I have a gazillion stories behind this. I'm going to share some some of the major stories here soon. Embracing discomfort. This happens when we're reframing. It can be very uncomfortable to view those obstacles as opportunities and have gratitude for them when we feel uncomfortable. And I always say, if you've been in my world from any short time or a long time, becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable is going to be a strong suit, because the growth and progress often lies outside of our comfort zone. You want a bigger bicep? Lift heavier weight. It's uncomfortable. You're going to build a bigger bicep. So outside of what's familiar and predictable, this is where perseverance requires that growing through the discomfort, not pushing through. I tell my clients all the time, as a gentle reminder when we hop on a coaching call, if I can see that they're pushing through, swimming upstream against the rapid, I go, hey, what are you doing swimming against the stream? Hop in the inner tube, float down, go with the flow. Well, this is what I have to do. Who said? You? You're the only one putting pressure on yourself to do it this way, this quickly, when I know there's a gazillion other ways to get the same result. It's your choice. And there's no extra gold star, blue ribbon, or financial prize for doing it the hard way. I can't tell you how many people, not every single one. So don't go start looking at like all the companies I worked for, which some I've signed NDAs with that aren't listed. And those are some of them who have done, $100 million years, $20 million months. And even a couple years later, consulting with them, coming in, me reevaluating and, I guess what's the best word? Coming in and revamping, rebooting, resetting parts of the business, especially in the sales departments. Like, what are they doing? What are they saying? Why is it working? Why is it not working? What's the structure? What's the script? How are they overcoming objections? How are the quality of the questions? Are they in their authority? Are they using conviction? Are they convincing? Are they being pushy? Are they allowing to be pulled? Are they helping them not regret the yes or the no and assisting them in making the decision? Are they making the decision for them? All these amazing things, right? And some of these businesses may have had their quote unquote one hit wonder, whether it was a year or two, making really good money. 20 million a month isn't too shabby. 100 million a year isn't too shabby. But were they able to do it consistently? Not all of them. Not all of them. I've seen very successful businesses still struggle, and then they're struggling, and then a couple months, and then a year. And it's like, when are you going to stop doing this? But this worked. It worked then. Are you going to be willing to step aside and do something different? Or do you want to continue to bleed? A lot of these companies can do that because they have the resources to allow the bleeding to bleed. And they don't feel the negative side effect to that, where if you're a new business owner or you're only doing, 200,000 a year, $500,000 a year, your first $1 million a year with a very small team, every $10, $20, $30,000 consistently out the door, if there's no true ROI, it can be felt. And I get that. But what are you? Who are you? And how are you as a leader, as a CEO of your own world or business in the discomfort? And are you able to embrace the discomfort and grow through versus push through? Trust the process. Again, if these three things right here, right now, the reframing the challenges, the embracing the discomfort, the trusting the process aren't who you are and how you are on the regular, I guarantee you're feeling frustrations, resentment, challenges, and a whole nother caliber. And those are now what's blocking your shots to next level success or any success at all. How do I know this? Because there's time when I wasn't embracing the discomfort. I wasn't reframing the challenges. I wasn't trusting the process. And it immensely stifled my growth and the impact I was making in my clients' lives and the lack of clients thereof to even be an option, right? So trusting the process, what does this really mean? Because some people just throw it out there like, oh, trust the process. And I've even had clients be like, Jackie, if you say trust the process one more time, I'm hanging up. I get it. What's your relationship with the word discipline? What's your relationship with the word discomfort? What's your relationship with the words trust the process? Because real trust the process and not just throw it out there, see if the spaghetti sticks, trust the process. That's what I'm talking about here. Is real faith, real trust in a higher being. I call him God. I have friends that call him Gus, God, universe, source. Sometimes I interchange that, but it's the real faith, the real trust beyond religion that you have when it comes to your focus on consistent, intentional action rather than death gripping the instant results. This is still something I have to work on. Because when it looks like things aren't working out and they do, and I have so much proof in my own life, in my own client stories, those are the moments where like, yeah, I couldn't have planned that. I couldn't have done that on my own because I had real trust, real faith in the infinite, in the divine of God to guide me and lead me because I'm taking the step and he's going to direct. Right? But I have to be willing to commit to showing up to do the things that's involved in the process. Well, what's the process, Jackie? It's the how, but not the death grip on the how. It's the result of this or something better and not a death grip on the this only or it's nothing. Right? So the trust the process part is why most of my clients come to me and why we work on boundary setting, why we work on taking bold, courageous steps, why we are standing in our authority, even when our knees are shaking, how we work on the conviction that we have because we know without a shadow of a doubt, it works every single time. And every single time we trust the process at the next level, it's freaking uncomfortable. But because we've gotten comfortable with being uncomfortable and growing through, it's not really that bad. Every single time it gets a little bit easier and a little bit easier and a little bit easier because we did the easy step. Number one, reframing the challenge as an opportunity and finding growth, gratitude in the growth. So really quick here, because I don't want to talk forever because I can tend to do that because I just love to share and have things land for you in ways that you can actually take something and apply it, right? So out of all of this today, again, if you're like, well, where's my next first step? Well, obviously, we can hop on a call. We can do an activate and create call, which is very impactful if you're feeling a little stuck or unsure or just direction or the how. You have like 50 different hows and you don't know which one to go all in on. You do. You just don't know how to trust that decision, that knowing, right? Yeah. Or maybe you do and you have in the past, but you've recently been quote unquote burned. So that's for another time and place. But the other thing is the power prompts. The power prompts have saved my clients hundreds of dollars of having to hop on another call with me because they just went and did the prompts and they're like, wow, the answer was revealed with the first 3 prompts, Jackie, or the first prompt and the fourth prompt and the last prompt. Great. That's why I have them out there for 33 freaking dollars. It's a no-brainer. You use them once a month for 20 minutes. Tell me how you're not hitting your goals. Tell me how your intentions and your desires aren't resulting in what you truly want out of life, in both business and personal life too. It's a win-win for you, your family, your loved ones, it all. Real life examples of perseverance versus insanity. These are stories of businesses who succeeded because they what? Adapted their strategies without giving up on their goals. They pivoted, they shifted, staying focused on the end result, but they started over here and maybe they pivoted over here and pivoted over here. And it wasn't maybe a direct shot, but it still allowed them to thrive and survive. So here are some examples of some that you may or may not have been aware of that also fell into the trap of insanity, but they were refusing, hell or high water, right? Not to pivot when necessary. So first is perseverance with adaptation. Pivoting. Netflix. Netflix started as a DVD rental company in 1997. As the market shifted toward digital streaming, they pivoted their business model and focused on streaming and content creation. If you haven't heard of Netflix, you're probably sleeping under a rock. The outcome is Netflix's ability to transform into a global entertainment giant with over 200 million subscribers. Lesson learned, perseverance doesn't mean clinging to an outdated method. It means evolving to meet your goals through new strategies of what's keeping your clients and customers up at night. What can make life easier for them? What can make life more enjoyable for them in Netflix case, right? Number 2 is J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, right? Her story is she faced multiple rejections. 12 publishers turned her down, said no, before Bloomsbury took a chance on Harry Potter. She didn't rewrite her vision, but she adjusted her approach, finding smaller publishers who might take the risk. The outcome? Hello, Harry Potter becoming a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Hello, Universal Studios here in my backyard has it in 2 of its theme parks, right? The lesson, adaptation can mean finding the right audience or partner while staying true to your core vision and values. Same thing happened to Walt Disney when he was trying to get a loan. I didn't even include him on this one, but that just made me think of Walt Disney. The third one is Airbnb. The founders of Airbnb struggled to gain traction initially. Imagine if they just gave up because it was like, oh, this is too hard. This is too hard, right? Let's just do something else. So they pivoted instead their marketing by leveraging creative storytelling, selling cereal during 2008 election is an example, and refining their platform. Hello, Airbnb. Initial struggle at the start. Pivot the marketing. The outcome was Airbnb is now valued over $100 billion. To think, a struggle, a challenge, without a reframe, without seeing the challenges of opportunity to grow and expand, could have prevented this company from even being worth $100 billion. The lesson is perseverance sometimes means being willing to reinvent your approach without giving up on the larger goal. Do you see a pattern here? Lesson, staying true to your core vision, reinventing the approach without giving up on a larger goal, evolving to meet your goals through new strategies. Write one of those down, please, and put it on a sticky note. Don't give up. Trust the process. Reframe. Be comfortable with the discomfort, but don't push through it. Grow through it. Insanity. Here are some companies who refuse to pivot. I'm not going to go into all the detail. Blockbuster failed to pivot despite their clear signs of market disruption from Netflix. They could have competed. They decided not to. So the lesson learned, insanity is sticking to outdated models. When the landscape shifts, your customer base wants something different, leading to inevitable failure. And the company went bankrupt in 2010 while Netflix soared. Number 2, Kodak invented the first digital camera in 1975, but refused to embrace the digital revolution, fearing it would cannibalize their film business. They're afraid that it was going to mess up their other cameras with film. So their market share crumbled as competitors embraced the digital photography. Ignoring change and refusing to adapt can turn perseverance into stagnation. They were, again, now this one's tricky because they were trying to persevere with their film cameras, and they didn't want to create a digital camera to compete against itself. It's like, no, you just capture more of the market. I have film cameras and I have digital cameras, right? Why not have both? There's a market for the yes and of both. And then lastly is BlackBerry. They clung to its physical keyboard design and ignored the rise of touchscreen technology, dismissing the iPhone's potential. The outcome, once the market leader BlackBerry now holds a negligible share of the smartphone market. It was like BlackBerry was like Kleenex, right? When you ask for a tissue to blow your nose, you say, "Can you hand me a Kleenex?" Same thing back then. BlackBerry, not anymore. Overcommitment to fixed strategy despite market evolution is the hallmark of insanity. Fixed strategy despite, it's like almost I want to call it oblivious. Like you're so stubborn, and I get this because I'm a very stubborn person at times. And I love it when my loved ones and my clients call me out on it. Like I really do appreciate it because I don't want it to be for the wrong reasons, right? I want it to be because I'm stubborn to perseverance and trying new strategies versus stubborn being stuck in old ways, right? So, what are some takeaways from today? The key difference between perseverance involves staying committed. Don't just decide, commit to a goal, to your desires, but in a very flexible, fluid, playful way so that any method that's not working, you are aware quickly and you pivot, you release, and you move on to the next, and you try the next. You monitor and measure the next. Methods should be able to be monitored and measured, or you can easily slide into the insanity side because insanity is reaping the same actions, expecting a different result. Adaptability wins. Successful individuals and businesses use feedback to evolve, ensure their persistence is directed towards the strategies that work. And even when they have a strategy that works, they're testing new strategies on the side. Now that's fun. That's a lot of fun. Signs of insanity: ignoring the market trends, resisting innovation. Innovation is a requirement for all businesses. I don't care if you're a small business. I don't care if you're a coach, a consultant, a brick and mortar, a mom and pop's, a multi-billion dollar company. Innovation, innovation, innovation all day. I mean, look at iPhones. There's always a new phone. There's always something being innovated along the way. So, ignoring the market trends, resisting innovation, or refusing to seek help or feedback are red flags of stubbornness, masquerading as perseverance. There you have it, folks. So, if you didn't download the power prompts last week, let me remind you, delay is the biggest dream killer of all dream killers. So, if you find yourself, and I have a whole other podcast on the 3Ds that will block all your dreams from becoming a reality. I don't care how hard you work towards them, but delay is the number one. So get them and actually use them. I have a video to show you how to use them. The 5 best tips and practices. You can have it. You can have it all. So reflect back on your current goals. Are you persevering, or are you on the borderline of insanity and burnout? Are you committing to one change that allows you to stay aligned? Are you flexible with your approach? And are you actively seeking that feedback? Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination, if not more important, because sometimes destinations, hitting goals, come and go literally in a blink of an eye. But was it worth it? Did you enjoy? Did you find enjoy, fulfillment along the way? So I'll leave you with that. Please go out there, friends, and choose growth over stubbornness. And as a closing thought, remember, perseverance isn't about doing the same thing forever. That's not innovation, my friend. It's about doing the aligned thing long enough to succeed. And remember, success is fulfillment. Without fulfillment, it's not success. And continue to pivot even the slightest until you do. All while choosing what's, again, fulfilling along the way, since success without fulfillment simply is not success. All right, my friends, I'm leaving you with so much love. If you need anything at all, my DMs are open. You have all the tools on my link, all the free stuff, sales codes, rise up, power prompts, imposter syndrome, you name it, it's there. Super stoked. I have 4 ultimate VIPs that I was giving away, offering this year, which include 12 months of coaching with me, all of my courses, the Rise Up, the Power of the Laws, the Power of the Reset, the money codes, the sales codes. There was a couple more there. I'm not remembering at the moment, but they're all there for you. One of those seats was just taken yesterday, so there are now only 3 left. So that is something you're like, wow, I'd love to have Jackie in my back pocket. I'd love to come to Orlando for a VIP day. So that's all included. I'd love to talk to you twice a month. I'd love you to look at my offer, and let's look at my offer stack and do a real thorough audit. What's working, what's not working. And having that feedback on a regular basis from someone who's been there, who's done that, just let me know. It's the have it all. It's the HIA, HIA, have it all experience. And there only are 3 left this year. They're going to be gone this quarter, and I'm not even offering it loudly like I was during my Black Friday at the end of last year. So I'll leave you with that until next time. Have an awesome, awesome day, persevering with feedback and being uber aware that we're not sliding into sanity. Leave you with so much love.